Hey everybody, new set, spring, new changes. The Revival Collection has brought us a new daddy, and his name is Ark. Stick around. Hi everybody, this is the Captain Jose and the Doombringer Griffin.
Hello.
Back in the day, before the days of Team Absolution, my biggest fear was a local tournament, and particularly Ryan beating me at that tournament.
Those were the days.
He was the best Vanguard player around, and he beat us all into smithereens until his shopkeep told him to stop playing.
I was a monster.
But the thing is, Locals was really as far as it goes, so as far as I was concerned, Ryan was the best player in the world, though I knew he wasn't.
Unfortunately.
Lucky for us, though, shortly after that, a nice brave company came up and decided to make their own circuit series, and that was Altered Reality Games. And it wasn't until that point that Team Absolution really had its chance to form and to grow into its own team. It really gave us an avenue to express our joy for the game and enjoy it in a very competitive aspect. It was really the only competitive avenue for a while.
Because Bouchero's not coming to Charlotte NC, I'll tell you that.
We want to give some time to say, if you haven't gone to an Altered Reality Games Circuit Series tournament, you really should attend. They are fun. They're best 2 out of 3, Swiss format. What are the details you got for us, Ryan?
Prize support? How's that for an incentive? Vendors all around, win ARG points and take them to other things or buy things on the site. So the way it's organized is magnificent, and it has something for everyone. So even if your friends don't play the same game as you, at least you can all go together and have a good time.
It really holds a very special place in us, the chance that we get to travel as much as we do to these events, because without these events, we really wouldn't have started traveling. We wouldn't have gotten to meet the fans. So from the bottom of our heart, we want to take the time to thank you guys and hopefully get ARG some support that they need as well.
The more we can do, the more they can do for us.
Hey everybody, this is Team Absolution bringing you a long-awaited deck profile on Sanctuary Guard Ark. This is almost the exact build I took to ARG States, minus the Arcs actually because I didn't have them, but I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. So, starting off, we got the starter. This is going to be probably my build going into the near future, but until Royals get something else. So we start with Millis. Millis is our starter. Millis is our money. I love Millis. Millis is good. Millis is everything I ever wanted. Yeah, he's good. He's a counterblast. He calls the dude. It's really good to get back in the game with him. So I like him. There's really no other better starter to run in Royals. So I'm going to start off with our good old triggers here. So I run 2 draw. I run the 10 crit 2 draw variant just because it's always been my type. I've tried the 12 crit. But the 12 crit never seemed to work for me. For some reason, the 10 crit 2 draw has always brought me the most success. I think it has something to do just with if you check these defensively and you get that extra card, it really helps you jump back in the game. Even if you check it offensively, occasionally that's going to work. This is primarily a defensive strat, but it's also when you call it, it can go in the soul and really turn a lot of your deck cards live, like the Richards and the one Maron you'll see later, but particularly the draw cards. So I like this. I like it a lot. It has a decent amount of utility, so we keep it there. Furthermore, I run 2 of the Crit Lou. I like Future Knight Lou. I don't obviously don't run him for a skill. I run him because I like his art, and really there's room in this. Once you start running out of like crits that you need to run, you just run the nice crits that you like. So you don't really have to run Future Knight Lou if you don't want to. I like it because he's nice and shiny and he looks cool. Next is Bringer of Dreams Bellinis. I run 4 of him. We run him. Technically, you could just run any other crit you wanted to. I run Bellinis because there are cases where you are going to strut it out mile, and he is live, and so that's an extra card. If you want to give the 10k hand, you want to draw some more cards. This can get you there. So I run this because of that reason. This is optimized for that purpose. This crit is a crit, but it also has utility. That's why we run it. Now these are the 4 crits you have to run. If you're going to run my variant, obviously the Floral Paladin Flogel. Flogel's crit is Flogel. I like Flogel a lot. Flogel is really useful in a lot of situations. Basically, the Blaster Engine. Without Flogel, you can't have a Blaster Engine. So he stands up if you don't know what he does, counterblast 1 when a Blaster Blade attacks a Vanguard, you can pay the cost, put it on the top of the deck, shuffle, then stand the Blaster Blade. This is really good. You need this if you're going to run the Blaster Engine. So we run 4 of him. Then, of course, I run the cutest heal in Royals, in my opinion, and that is the good old Jewel Knight Hilmy. So I like Hilmy, so we run Hilmy. It's a kitty. You can run into the other, like, 16 heals I think they have in the game right now. Next, grade 1s. We'll start with PGs. So I run... now this is going to be a weird contention. You want to run... Right now we're in the meta. I like to like safe-proof myself against as many decks as possible. And Laurel still will always exist. Laurel will always still be there. Laurel can swing at rear guards. I can't protect rear guards with unflipped PGs. So instead I use... Seeker, Defender, Knight, or Defender, Seeker, what's his name? Shiran. And then I've always used him to safeguard against decks that if they swing at the rear guard, they can restand, things like that. You always want to be wary in those kind of situations. But that's just me being a little paranoid. You could totally, if you felt the need, run the unflip PG. Right now in this meta really isn't attacking rear guards and getting bonkers skills heavy, so you're kind of okay running the unflip PG. I've just always liked this PG, and so I've always used this PG because I'm paranoid and I always worry about Laurel or, God forbid, Dote swinging at one of my grade 1s that's in the front row. If I don't have a heal to hit it with Dismal, then this can still work. So I like it. I use it. It has paid off in the past. Plus, not to mention, D-Robos are going to get some serious support in the future. And, I mean, this is pre their tri-set. So, yeah, you got to be ready. Next in the grade 1 department, I run 4 Stride Fodder. As soon as I get the full arts, I'll run the full arts. No, I'm kidding. I'm thinking about it, though. But I like these signed ones. I've had these signed ones since GBT 01. They've been pretty loyal to me, so I like using them. Stride Fodder is Stride Fodder, so we use the Stride Fodder. That's all it breaks down to. Stride Fodder is Stride Fodder, so we use the Stride Fodder. Especially when you're only running 5 grade 3s like I am. You're going to need it. I run 2 Blaster Friend Barkle. He's just another way to enable Lou. The same thing. So with this, basically when I need certain cards, I tend to run around 5 or 6 targets. So this combined with the crit is 6 combo pieces for Lou. And you're never really going to get the blaster of the unflip one with Blaster Blade. Occasionally, I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but it's a lot less than you think. I mean, if you ride the Blaster Blade and then you have another Blaster Blade, or you ride the one of grade 2 I have in the deck as well, then maybe you can get it off. Otherwise, this is pretty much just to have more targets. Plus, my grade 1 is pretty like fine-tuned, so there wasn't enough room for any more than 2. Another grade 1, the last of the grade 1s. So I run 4 of Richard and 1 of Miran. Like I said, when I need targets, I like to run 5 to 6 targets of any type of card. This includes like targets for combo pieces for Lou. This is basically combo pieces for both Vanguard and Beanon. My general consensus was I wanted 1 for the ride of Vanguard, and I wanted 4 in case that for some crazy way I was able to get every single Beanon off. I wanted to have still targets that aren't PGs, because PGs technically will also count, but I try not to count them because you want to use those for guard and you don't want to use those to call. So this would then you have 10 targets total, but these are typically your primary targets. They basically have the same skill when they're called from deck, Soul Blast 1, and draw a card. They're Ninja clones, and it took us forever to actually get them, but we got them finally a long time ago. But we were like way after Shadows got theirs, that's for sure. Next, we've got 4 Blaster Blade. This is another, if you're going to use the Blaster Engine, you need Blaster Blade. I run this art, you can run any other art you want. I like it. If you know what Blaster Blade does, you know what it does. And you're not going to use a skill that often, but you can, and that's the important thing. In one of my other decks, I run the full art, the full art no skill Blaster Blade. And, I mean, I just do it because you're rarely ever going to use the skill in that deck. But More so in this one. You might still get it off occasionally, but occasionally you won't. So, that's it. And it's also, he combos with Lou, he combos with Flogel, combos with Blaster and Barkle. He's kind of one of the cruxes of the deck. So next, we go into Lou. Lou's good. He hits great lines when he's boosted by Blaster Friend Barkle or when he's boosted by Flogel. Still hits beefy lines. This card's good. Counterblast 1 when he attacks the Vanguard, put it in the soul, search out a card, a grade 2 with Blaster in its name, and it gets plus 3k. So basically, you can search out really anything. You can search out anything. You can search out Blaster Blade, which is the only thing you should be searching out. Search out Blaster Blade, you hope you have a Flogel behind this, and then you can really start doing some devastation for two counterblast. Blaster from Barkle will get you the Blaster Blade, but he's not going to give you any extra advantage. It's another reason we only rerun less of the Blaster from Barkle. He doesn't really, I mean, in this deck, he doesn't combo that well with Blaster Blade, but Flogel does. So he hits good lines, he calls other dudes. There's no really complaints here. In the Kagero matchup, he kind of sucks just because he can get griffined and his skill won't go off. That's the only bad part. But, I mean, that's just matchups, and matchups are matchups. Next, we run Sage of Salvation Benon. Benon's great. I'm actually, after probably a year, a little bit more playing this deck, I think he might be better than Swordman, in all honesty. He hits the same lines as far as it's concerned. He hits grade 2 lines as far as it's concerned. As long as you can stride, he's going to be devastating of a card. So, and he gets you a draw card for Soul Blast 1. So this card combined with Richard or Miron is basically Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, call a dude and get a card. It's got no problems with that. He's proven very valuable over time. I love this card. I recommend using him. And that's pretty much how that goes. So you run Benon because he gives you draw engine, which is nice. The last grade 2 in the deck goes back to the entire thing I'm talking about when I build this deck. I always like to have targets. So in the weird situation where you were somehow able to call out every single blaster, you ran out of Blaster Blades. One's in the damage, 2 are in the damage, or you've called 2 with Lou's, and you have another Lou and you can get it off, and you need to get another grade 2. I run good old Blaster Blade Spirit. SP. He's also a decent ride, to be honest, and I've realized that a little bit more. When you ride him and he's that 10k base, that's actually pretty nice when people are trying to rush you down and trying to swing at you with 9ks. This is actually pretty beneficial, but also it works really well when you call something out and you call this out, and then it gets plus 3, and then he also gets a plus 9 from assuming you have a full back row with Wrigley. It's swinging for 22. Very useful card. I like this card. I say Ray played this card. So that's me with my one-of techs. And then on to the grade 3s. I run our old daddy himself, Sanctuary Guard Dragon, as a 3-of. We only run 5 grade 3s in this deck. And then I run Sanctuary Guard Arc as a 2-of. So here's the general thing. You can switch and run 3. So like it really comes down to how much luck you want there to be inherently in your deck. So, like, calling him is better turn after turn, but eventually you're going to run out of targets. He's better for the ride turn just because, all right, let's say he's the only grade 3 I have in a hand. I have no way to stride effectively or efficiently. I ride him. I call out one of my Soul Blast 1 draw cards, and then I have a chance of drawing into the stride fodder that lets me continue the play. This guy does not give you that chance. On ride, you have to have the stride fodder or the grade 3. So here's my general consensus. If you think you're not going to have the way to stride on grade 3 turn reliably, this guy gives you a chance. If you always think that you always have the ability to stride, then this guy gives you the chance. Then this guy's good. This guy's better turn over turn. This guy's better on the. I run this because I tend to be an unlucky person. This is the setup I run because sometimes I don't have the grade 3 and this guy gives me the chance to get there. And my friends Nate and Ryan can both attest that I have on many occasions rode this, dropped a card, called out the Soul Blast 1 draw card, and drew into the stride of the grade 3, much to their chagrin. It happens. That's why I run this variant. But this card is also very good, and I very much enjoy this card. There's nothing to say that this card isn't good. This card is very good. So we run both, and we run them both in this kind of way. So, like I said, if you ran 3 of this and 2 of this, I would have no complaints against you. Heck, if you're in Japan, you're probably going to be running 4 of this and 1 of this because this guy's down to 1, which is also perfectly fine. Basically, these both have Sanctuary Guard in their names, and they're both going to get the job done. So that's how that works. And then next is the good old Stride deck. So the first 8 strides are pretty simple. So regularly, I don't have to explain why that card is good in this deck. If I do, then I don't know why you're watching this deck profile. And then for Outmiles. Outmile is in here because he's just a good failsafe. He gets you call grade 2s. You can call a Bean on and call a grade 1. It helps you build board in case you're in a situation where your board's getting decimated in a speed that you can't come back from. And this guy gives you that opportunity, so we run it as a 4 of. Now those are the 8 strides that you're really going to typically use. So after here, this is really up to your choice. Some people like to run Fides as a 2 of in case they need to dig some. Some people like to run that other guy, the rainbow dude. I run a lot of just weird techs just because if I've exhausted this, I must be in a very weird situation. Or if I'm choosing to not go into one of these 2 cards, I must also be in a weird situation. So I run a 2 of Sampla Dragon because crits are nice and crits are effective and they get the job done. And you know, this is it's always been a good finisher, and it's free, and I like free finishers, so I use Samplo. Seabreeze, I've debated recently taking him out because in most cases where your opponent didn't ride to grade 2, now granted, if you were baited and you already did use grade 3 ride, this option's available to you, but in a lot of cases you're going to be doing the one not riding the grade 2, so this kind of gives you, I guess this gives you like the mirror match is the best kind of situation I say to continue running this, which is why I still keep it in for now, the Seabreeze. And then the last tech in is Samuel. I've always ran Samuel. He's the weirdest tech card. He's expensive. He deals the damage. I've used him maybe 3 times in my entire Vanguard career, but he is there. He is available to you, and you have to respect his ability to be there. So I respect it. And so I use them as my tech in 1 of. There are other 1 ofs you could probably use in this deck that I would have no qualms with you using. But like I said, if you've exhausted the Outmiles, you exhausted if you're thinking something's gone wrong. As far as G-Guards go, I run of Screw You because he's a 10k bonus for dropping a card, which is important. Run for Dismal because you have to protect your Lose, your Blaster Blades. Beanon could die. But it's good to protect your front row dudes, and so this guy can do this. Especially if you have to drop a loot early game, this guy can help you. I run 1 of Laser Guard. Laser Guard's nice. He's 20k if you have 1 grade 2. And then I run Androgynous because he's a 10k boost, assuming your opponent doesn't go for your rear guards first, which in a lot of cases he won't. So if you have the grade 2s in there and you have to heal, this is a plus 10k guard, and it's as free can be for that. So we run it instead, and it's not bad. So enjoy that. And that's our deck profile. It's a little longer than most, but I try to explain a lot of the decisions in this deck. But if you feel like I said, I feel like it's pretty standard fare, except for the Stride deck. I think it's a little different. But if you have any recommendations or anything you want to comment, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you check out our sponsor, ARG, or Ultra Reality Games Vanguard Circuit Series. Make sure you check out the link in the description to see their upcoming events. And we'll see you next time with Team Absolution. Peace.